Okay, this is now the 5 Minute Tarot for the 25th of July 2017. And today I'd like to run some ideas by you about which is the strongest card in a spread and how we can figure out the strongest card. Because when you're doing a reading, it can be useful to know what's the most important card so that you know what to emphasize to the questioner or what meanings or experiences or conditions you want to tell the questioner about in particular. So if the question is what's the most important card in a reading, the answer is it kind of depends. So we can think about certain types of cards and have an idea about what is probably going to be most important. So major trumps are obviously strong. So we might think if there's a major trump in the spread, it's the most important card, and it might be. Then we've court cards. So a king looks as if it's stronger than, let's say, a knight and a page. And so if you have a king and a page, you're probably going to think that the king is more influential or more important. And then even with minor trumps, I was thinking of the Ten of Swords. Let's say you get the Page of Cups and the Ten of Swords. Somehow the defeat and the rawness and the physicality, we can say, of the Ten of Swords, where you've been stabbed in the back and you're lying face down in the sand and so on. It does seem more immediate and more real and more impactful than the Page of Cups, who can be kind of wishy and, contemplative and into meditation and so on. So the Ten of Swords seems more real, and from that point of view, it can seem to be more important or stronger. But then I was thinking about the spread that was done or came up with Vytautas a few days ago in the middle of July, I think, where he did a past, present, future spread about his relationship with his older female neighbour, and he got the Wheel of Fortune reversed in the past, so that's kind of things that happened, and once it's done, you can't do much about it. Then he has the Page of Cups in the present, which is like his attitude's important. How is he going to handle the situation? And the future card was the Empress reversed. So it's a bit like it's saying that maybe the future is in the hands of the woman next door. But that Page of Cups seems important because it's something that Vytautas can do something about. And maybe the Page of Cups, being in the middle, can set the tone for the rest of the reading and can set the tone for what the Empress reversed is, how she's going to behave. So when I was speaking a couple of days ago, it was the video with Kent Hewitt's example of improvisation using the white notes in the octave of C, beginning with middle C. When I was talking, in the back of my mind, I was remembering A Day in the Life by the Beatles from Sgt. Pepper, and that one note that they play right at the end. And I wanted to include that idea, but I was running out of time, so I didn't. So I was talking at the time about how you can think of a card as being a musical note. So sometimes as you play a tune, it can be fast, or it can be slow, or it can be repetitive, the same note over and over again. And that's a way of looking at and understanding cards in a reading. So is it something that's played quickly and you move on and you forget about it? Or is it a recurring theme? Is it a bass note that really drives the song along? And that can be what a card represents. It's there. And if you take it away, there's nothing much going on. But because the bass is in the background and playing, it really makes the song real, makes it come alive. And a card can be like that as well. So it's to get you to think about cards as music or as notes in a song. And then I'm thinking of the last bit of Sgt. Pepper, of A Day in the Life. And thanks to the wonders of YouTube, here it is. Okay, that was, I looked it up, and it's the chord of E, and it's like a note, a compound note, and it was the only thing that was going on. And it may get weaker as time goes by, but it's still there, and it creates an atmosphere and it has an influence. And this is a bit like what I think that Page of Cups represents for Vitautas. So it's there and it's strong, and it's of key importance, because what happens in the future really depends on him. If he has, depending on his attitude, his approach, his desire for a certain outcome, that's what's going to happen. And so it's a bit like that chord that just fades out. So I'm cut. I was just remembering the actual note again, and I suppose that the reason for this video is because I wanted to play that note or that chord, but I also wanted to remind you of the importance of reading what's there, looking at the spread. In Vitautas' case, look at that Page of Cups and don't think that's just a page, not that important. So you look at what's there in the cards that you get, and you think it through. And you don't think that you have to include apparently true and correct information that you read somewhere or that other people told you. Because what they say may be excellent, but it may not be applicable to that question and that questioner at that time. So I was thinking of mottos. Little, like, look before you leap and he who hesitates is lost, little mottos like that. And I was remembering save for a rainy day. People would tell you to save for a rainy day. And that's good advice. And it makes an awful lot of sense. But maybe you've got the choice of saving for a rainy day, or take some of that cash and enroll in an art class where you meet interesting people that you get along with, and it improves the quality of your life. And you become motivated because you want to do art. And so it turns into a hobby, and the hobby turns into a career that gives you great satisfaction. But you would have missed out on all that whole experience if you'd saved the money for the rainy day. So good advice or correct meanings for cards that you read somewhere, that's fine. But we ought to remember, and I think it's a good idea to remember, that when we're using cards, it's the questioner at that time asking that particular question that is what's important. And we should look at the cards that come up and make sense of it, and not feel that we have to know the meaning and include meanings that worked elsewhere, or that we read about in books, or that somebody told us is what the real answer is. So I think it goes back to you, the reader, make sense of what comes up and answer the questioner has asked. And you'll be able to do it. Okay, tomorrow is the 26th of July. I don't know what I'm going to do for it, but hopefully there will be a video then. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.